Is this thing on?
Can everybody hear us? I sure hope so, because we have a lot to talk about.
Welcome to our podcast, Unapologetically Mixed Up. I am Kelly, and this is
Mike.
This is not a one-size-fits-all podcast. We will be discussing multiple different topics, from mental health, marriage,
And don't forget the sports.
animals, and more. There are going to be real, raw, and emotional episodes where we show you our most vulnerable moments. Follow us and our guest on this crazy ride we call life.
And don't forget to follow us on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and our email address is unapologeticallymixedup@gmail.com. Dear Mom, thank you for breaking my dad's heart and making all of our lives complete chaos. All right, everyone, I am going to be talking about my mom today. Going from childhood up until probably I have talked in the past. My mom did pass away 7 years ago now. It'd be 7 years in September.
4 months after your dad.
4 months and 5 days to be exact. She passed away September 25th, 2017. So, when I was a child, we lived in Akron, Ohio. I was pretty much, I would say I was a mama's boy when I was a kid. Yes.
Oh.
I was a mama's kid. Mama's boy. Obviously mama's kid because I was the only one.
Well, I don't know, man. You do not look like your mother. You look like your dad.
Yeah, and my grandma on my dad's side.
You actually could be her child. Y'all could be twins.
Probably just put a short wig on me and let's go. And some glasses. Some bottle cap glasses.
Which my dad still has. We could take a picture of you wearing them this weekend when we go over there. And we could do a side...
We'll post this on the Unapologetically Facebook.
Yes, a side-by-side.
Unapologetically mixed up. All right, so I would say I was a mama's boy when I was a child. My mom worked as a high up in a restaurant, and she would get moved around. So obviously I would have to pack up and leave. And
by moved around, he means moving states.
Moving states, because yes, yeah. I actually did move one state over to Pennsylvania when I was either 6. No, it had to be 6, because my parents actually left for Pittsburgh before my first grade year was even over. So I actually stayed with my grandma on my dad's side until school was over. Once school was over, they put me on a plane at Akron Canton Airport. This is Akron Canton Airport. If anybody knows geographic here, Akron Canton Airport to Pittsburgh.
How old were you?
It's 2.5 hours.
How old were you?
2.5 hours driving. I was like, it had to be 6 because I was 7 in Pittsburgh, 8 in Erie. Because I have a picture of me in front of the restaurant with my marquee. It says, "Happy 8th birthday, Michael." With my shorts up to my
nipples.
And
the socks up to his nips, too.
Yes.
And the thick glasses and the bowl haircut. I think I was wearing
a Batman shirt. A black shirt with
I still have it saved in my phone.
Oh, it's on my Facebook as well.
Yeah, we might upload that as well.
That might go on the Facebook as well.
Wait, so who watched you on the plane?
That was a stewardess. A stewardess helped me go through. See, obviously, I was really young. I really don't remember the only thing I do remember is when I got off the plane in Pittsburgh, and I had to ride a shuttle. Because I don't even remember what Pittsburgh Airport is like, if they've changed it since then, because obviously that was 200 years ago.
Literally. Before dinosaurs.
I lost my train of thought.
You had to ride on a
I had
shuttle.
to ride on a shuttle to my parents. I remember that. I don't remember getting off the plane, but I just remember, well, I know I had to be with a stewardess. A stewardess would help me get to wherever I had to go.
Who was with you on the shuttle?
Some guy that worked for the airport.
I can just picture little Michael, Coke bottle glasses, booty shorts.
Had those, yes, I had the cock. Not the cock. I had bottle cap glasses. I'm going to say BC glasses, birth control glasses. So yeah. Yeah. Anyways.
Shit. All right.
And I remember going to Pittsburgh. We lived in Pittsburgh for a year. And I thought the best part, I'm going to go away from my mom for a little bit here for a second. One of the best days when I lived in Pittsburgh is when my grandma on my dad's side came to Pittsburgh. I didn't even know she was even coming. And I walked down the stairs and I saw her and I lit up like Christmas because I love my grandma on my dad's side. That's going to be another episode for another day. So that day she surprised me, and then we actually went to Hershey Park that day.
Did you get to make your own candy?
I honestly don't remember. That's the only time I've ever been to Hershey Park. And I actually don't even know how far away that is from Pittsburgh to wherever Hershey, PA is.
That's very surprising.
Yeah, it is, because I pretty much know everything about geographical.
What were
I mean,
you
I
all
pretty much
wearing
don't
that
even
day?
have GPS. And this one over here, she needs a GPS everywhere. She needs a GPS to the mailbox. I mean, that's how bad it is.
I love it though. I know where I'm going. If there's a car wreck or a detour,
Right at the mailbox.
right at the mailbox, I know to go left
Or if
instead
there's
of
an
right.
ant crossing, she has to wait, like
Yep.
a train going by.
Yep.
So, okay, after living in Pittsburgh, for a year, we lived in like some kind of like, it's like a condo, townhouse kind of thing in like a community, like, like apartment buildings and stuff. And there was a swimming pool. And I remember the one day living there in Pittsburgh, we had like 100-degree day.
Ooh.
It was hot as balls.
You probably thought it was cold.
Probably because, I am anemic, so I'm always cold, pretty much.
Cry me a river.
About 99% of the time. So, from Pittsburgh, we moved to Erie, Pennsylvania. If anybody knows where that is on the lake shore of Pennsylvania, up in the upper northern region
Hence
of Pennsylvania.
Lake Erie. Or Erie.
Erie, PA. Yep, up by Erie, Lake Erie, as she said.
See, I knew where that was.
So she got transferred to that restaurant as well. And then she, worked there for another year. So pretty much lived in Pennsylvania for 2 years before I came back to Ohio. We almost actually lived in Buffalo. For some reason, I actually remember this. We actually almost lived near the football stadium where the Buffalo Bills live. Oh my God, I am just not with it today. Where the Buffalo Bills play. They don't live there. Let's see a fun fact about Erie. If you know, that's in the snow belt. So we got tons and tons of snow. And all right, and so tons of snow, and there was a lot of snow shoveling that day. Oh yeah, and another good thing about Erie, PA, is I wanted the Nintendo for Christmas. And this is actually funny because we actually went back to Ohio to my grandma's house on my dad's side. And I was so worried that Santa was not going to come. I'm like, well, if Santa doesn't know I'm going to be home, he ain't going to know because, you know, obviously I'm a kid. I want my presents, you know, that kind of jazz. And we actually had my uncle on my mom's side living with us at that time. And I'm sure he was probably the one that was like put all the presents underneath the tree and blah, blah, blah. And I actually got my Nintendo that year, which was the greatest thing ever, which got me hooked on playing video games. So from there, you know, living there, and we actually had like some acreage of land. We lived like on a corner lot. I know it was Peach Street and something else. I can't remember what the main street was. Main Street was Peach Street, but where our driveway to the garage was. I remember my dad had a Cub Cadet. If anybody remembers a Cub Cadet, I'm sure, I don't know. Are those things still around? Let me know. I can't remember. I think Cub Cadet is still around. Cub Cadet lawnmower. And actually I would tent. See, I am not with it today. I had a tent and I would sleep outside. I think like during the summertime. That was pretty cool. From Erie, PA. Oh, actually, let's step back to Pittsburgh. I actually left something out. So I was supposed to go into second grade when I went to Pittsburgh. And I actually got held back. So I was supposed to graduate in 99. I graduated in 2000. So I guess because how they do their thing in Pittsburgh or in Pennsylvania is totally different from Ohio. So they actually held me back. So I had to do first grade again and then second grade. So I actually started second grade in Alliance when we came back to Ohio. Because then my mom was moved to the Alliance restaurant.
You just said you were in first grade in 1999.
No, I graduated in 99. I was supposed to graduate in 99, but I graduated in 2000.
Oh, from high school. Okay.
Yes.
I was confused because you went first grade to all of a sudden now we're in college.
Yeah,
I'm going
all over. I'm going all over. I'm just spacing out here.
Okay.
And I was actually supposed to graduate with my cousin. Not the same school, obviously, because my cousin was in Cuyahoga Falls and I went to Jackson at that time.
Fucking Jackson.
So we lived in Alliance. That's where we lived the longest. From second grade to eighth grade. I am just not with it today. There in Alliance, I think that was actually the first time I actually got to meet my grandpa on my mom's side because my grandparents on that side had divorced way back when. And that was the first time I met my uncle. I just said uncle. That was my grandpa because he lived in North Carolina. I believe somewhere around Charlotte.
And he was kind of shunned from up here. He wasn't a fan favorite.
Yeah, I mean, for what he did to my grandma, yes, back then before me, yes. But, you know, my mom was trying to mend things with him, and we actually went down to North Carolina to see him. And I remember going down there the one time, and he wanted, because I think it was right around the time that the Carolina Panthers were going to be an expansion team. He's like, he wanted to take me to a Carolina Panthers game.
Did you go?
Never did.
Oh. Why?
Well, I think they started. When did the Panthers start 93 maybe, early. I know it was the early 90s, but he actually passed away in 1995, and he was buried up here as well. He's buried up in Akron. Yeah, I was kind of shocked about that. I guess he was from here, that he would be buried up here and not down in North Carolina. So, Alliance, still mama's boy.
Mama's kid.
Mama's kid, obviously. And one other side note about my mom, which kind of upsets me a little bit. I mean, no control over it, but my mom actually had a miscarriage when I was a kid. And so I was almost not an only child. I almost actually had a sibling. If I remember correctly, I think it would have been a brother. I think.
I can't imagine.
I don't know if
two
they
of
were.
you.
I can't remember if it was a boy or a girl, but on how early she actually had the miscarriage. See, there's a lot of questions I would like to ask my mom, but it's too late for that.
You could ask your grandma.
I could. Yes. Mm-hmm. I could. I don't know if she's going to remember it because she's had 3 strokes, but maybe.
I think she will.
And my grandma she does pretty good for having 3 strokes. I mean, you wouldn't even tell that she even had a stroke.
Correct.
She gets around fine. She can feed herself. I mean, she's act like nothing ever happened to her. She's 82 years old. And we're actually born, on another side note, we're actually born in the same month, my grandma on my mom's side. Her birthday, June 2nd, mine, June 27th. Okay, so, if you're with me here, I was moving around a lot. I couldn't make friends, but this isn't really about friends and making friends. But I guess it could have been put a little start, like the start of a wrench with my parents and my mom moving me around a lot, and I couldn't make friends. I guess that probably started everything, I would think. So then after Alliance, we moved to North Canton, Ohio. And that's where I went to Jackson High School, where I finished my schooling. I actually didn't, where she got, I don't say promoted because she stayed in the same position, but they just moved her to each restaurant, I guess, to maybe better the restaurant. I don't remember if the restaurants weren't doing good or not or whatever. But when we moved there, and that's when my grandfather died. And I believe 1997 is when everything... 97? Or maybe 99. I can't remember. When everything started to turn. For anybody who knows me or who doesn't know me and has said my mom had an affair on my dad, which really broke me. Where are they going to go from here? From the one house we were living in North Canton, we actually had to move because they were being foreclosed because they were renting the house at that time. And we had to move, and then we moved into Massillon, which is still Jackson. And I remember my dad actually going to fight the said person that my mom had an affair with at a bar. My dad never got arrested. I remember he came home. And this was at a bar up in Akron, if I remember correctly. Which my mom was actually a dancer.
How old were you at this point?
Wow. If it was 97 or 99.
You were in high school.
97, I would have only been 16. So I had to be later. Maybe 99, so 18. Because I graduated when I was 18. Because I should have been 17 because I should have graduated in 99. So I can't remember, but I remember it was my senior year. We had my graduation party. Graduation. All right. Let's step back a little bit. At high school, I was in choir. I loved it. I love being in choir. I did choir from 6th grade up until my junior year. I couldn't do it my senior year because of the vocational class that I was taking over at Hoover, and it conflicted. I mean, I could have stayed in men's course, but I didn't. I just ended up stopping.
Why don't you sing something? Sing something for the people.
What?
No?
Started it, well, I guess got it more going is
Got what
my
more going?
mom never really went to any of the shows.
Your chorus or your singing
To the
choir?
shows, yes.
Did you have them often?
Well, yeah, I mean, you had Christmas, spring show. Oh, there was all kinds of concerts and stuff that we had. And my dad would be the one there. I honestly, because I know she wasn't there for a lot because... See, I don't know, honestly, if it was because of work, but I know my mom was a liar as well. So I really think it had a lot to do with her not being at work and being with said person that she was having an affair with. So that really started right there. So going to being graduating. Lost my train of thought. Oh, graduation. We had my party. She was at the graduation, obviously.
You were all still living together, though.
Yes, we were all still living together, and we had my graduation party. I really didn't have a whole lot of people because I really didn't have a whole lot of friends in school, in high school. I mean, had a few, still talk to kind of few, and follow on Facebook and stuff like that. So it was, I don't know how many days after my graduation party at the Maslin house duplex. Was I asleep? I think I was asleep because I slept in the basement. I mean, it was carpeted, it was finished. It was nice. And I had like this nice little cubby hole. I didn't have a door. It's kind of weird, but I mean, they had there was what they call it, a den or family room. You call it den, family room. There was also the TV and
In the basement?
in the basement.
Okay.
And it was like a den, basement, yeah, and family room. And then I had this little cubby hole off to the side and didn't even have a door or anything. I think I woke up to I cannot talk. I cannot. Commotion. Some commotion. There we go. going on here, my dad was throwing my mom's clothes in the garage. There's a lot of yelling and screaming, and I remember my aunt coming to the house, her sister. And honestly, I don't remember how. I know I ended up going to... And my parents separated, obviously, because my dad's throwing shit. People are crying. I'm crying. 18 years old, crying. Well, I'm a crier, if anybody knows me.
Yeah.
So, might get a little emotional today. I did kind of a little earlier.
Do you want a drink of water?
No.
Okay.
So I ended up going with my mom and living at my aunt's house in Navarre because my dad ended up moving with a friend that he worked with when he was driving truck. So my dad was living in Alliance and I was in Navarre. And from there, I moved from either my dad's house or back. I actually ended up living with my mom and her said person that she cheated with in Canal Fulton. There, they would drink a lot, and yet again, I had a room down in the basement again, but this time I had a door. This is actually in 2001 because that's when 9/11 happened. They drank a lot. They fought a lot. And they would also, not to gross anyone out, but I was the one that had to hear it. Them having sex upstairs. Very vocal. And, yeah. Which, yeah. Anyways, so my parents actually stayed separated, and the funny thing is my mom would come over once in a while because my dad bought a house in Canton thinking my mom would come back to him. 'Cause she would lead him on a lot. He actually gave her money. Not like chump change, not like $1, but like a few $1,000s. Hundreds.
Multiple times.
Yeah. And would she pay him back? No. So, where was I going?
Did they ever sleep together? That you know of when...
I think so. When she especially she came over to the house in Canton. And I actually remember when they first broke up or separated. She actually came over for Christmas. And my dad, at the time, had, like a circular saw, could make things with wood. And I think he still had it when he was living in Alliance with his friend. And he would make things. He made I believe I have it because I got it after my mom had passed away. One of the cabinets is actually back in the back.
It was a chest.
Yeah, chest, cabinet.
Not a cabinet. Yeah. We have multiple back there.
Yes. And,
No, that's when he made that?
yes. And that was when I got my first pager, too. A pager.
Oh, fucking pagers.
If all you youngins out there know what pagers are. Man, I'm just losing my train of thought.
Do you want to take a break?
No.
So you can think?
No.
Okay. You had a pager. Was somebody paging you? I don't
No. The
Like,
only
where
people
were-
that paged me were my parents.
I mean, where were we going with that?
I mean, just as like a side note, like pagers, back in the day, being old. I mean, kids nowadays don't even know what a pager is.
You probably
They probably
had-
look at it and be like, "What is this?"
You probably had the first set of pagers that came out because you're so old.
Probably.
You're
I
ancient.
wouldn't doubt it.
You were there before dinosaurs.
Yes. So yeah, my mom would like lead him on a lot. She would come over. I wouldn't say a lot. I don't know how many times that she actually came over. So they actually stayed separated for, if it was 2000 I graduated, 2010 or 2011. Because in 2011 she actually remarried the guy that she had an affair with.
So when were they divorced?
Actually, I have the divorce papers. Well, cleaning out my dad's stuff. Mm-hmm. I still have, I think they're in the chest. Not the chest that my dad gave to my mom.
You could probably look it up online.
Oh, yeah, and you could probably, I can look it up. I think it was like October or something, because I remember my mom coming over. I remember her coming over to the house in Canton, and they drove together to, like, finish signing off the paperwork. I remember this.
What in the...
Yeah. And, with them having the divorce and then my mom cheating on my dad really, really bothered me, upset me, still does to this day. I actually tried going to therapy once, and the therapist actually suggested that my mom come into like the next session. I told my mom this. She went off on me, cussing, saying, "Fuck you. I hate you. You hate me. I'm not good enough." I know my mom was bipolar too. That bothered me. I mean, I at that time I wanted to work on it,
And that probably would have helped you deal with it in a healthier way than what you were dealing with it. No, you may not have forgave her, but...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was her duty as a parent, and she failed you.
I really do think it would have helped.
Absolutely. Did you ever go to therapy with your dad?
No. Excuse me. No.
And so then what happened after that? After she cussed you out and all of that? Where were you living at this time?
I was living with my dad.
In Canton?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so you went several years after they divorced, or after they separated, to therapy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
What made you want to start that then?
Because I want to try to repair and not be mad at my mom.
Try to heal. Try to heal little Michael.
I would still go over to my mom's house, her house with her and her new husband. And honestly, when I would go over there, I really didn't make eye contact with her.
Was it
I
hard?
just wish I could do everything over again.
But what would you do differently?
Make her come to therapy, talk.
How would you have
I didn't
forced
want
her?
to be mad at her. I mean, if you've... Sorry, everybody, but...
Well, nobody wants to be mad at their parents, right? And...
Everybody wants to love their parents.
Yes.
And not be mad at them.
Yes, but it's also the parent's job to be a parent. It doesn't stop when someone turns 18, 30, 40, 50, 60. It's until the day that you take your last breath. And when you have a child, whether you're a man or a woman, and there's issues, whether you caused them or not, and that child is coming to you with all this pain and anger and whatever else, and they just come at you like that, it's like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
It's like ripping your heart out and throwing it away, which is fucked up. Because if you're going to spread your legs or do the other side of the deed and make a child and bring a human being into this world, it is your job to protect them and to be there for them. Even if you don't fucking agree with it. Even if she didn't want to go to therapy, she should have fucking went.
Yeah. And Lisa, say, I need to say this out.
Yes.
I did not like the person that she married.
Not many people do. When you
And I don't really think that, because he had 2 kids, and we really didn't.
weren't they younger than you?
They were younger, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like-
they kids. They were like kids.
Like more than 10 years?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember the boy, he was, I believe he was still in diapers.
Holy shit. So they were babies.
But I think his sister was older. I can't remember. Yeah, because, yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's why you never had a relationship with them. I didn't realize there was that big of an age gap.
Oh, yeah. I tried having a relationship with them.
But what are you going to do with a kid in diapers?
I don't know, change it.
But you know what I mean? You're not going to have any type of relationship.
No, I mean, because we can't, like,
Bond.
communicate
Yeah.
the same
Yes.
from somebody who's out of high school,
Yeah. And someone's
working
like,
full time, and kids that are, like, in elementary school. Like,
yeah,
what?
there's no connection there. It's
No.
just awkward.
Yeah.
Blended families, 1 in a million when they work.
True. Unless you're the Brady Bunch. I mean, in perfect lives, you know?
Oh, not really. I mean, according to the TikTok,
Oh,
there's some shady
on
Sheila
TikTok.
shit going on, okay?
Of course. Good old TikTok.
It's like a .org site.
So,
So you
never really...
you could never look at her, make eye contact.
No.
Because you were disgusted with her? Upset? Angry?
Upset.
All of it.
Angry. All of it. All the above. I mean,
And-
I still love my mom,
Sure.
but there's still that... what she did to our family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what was going on between my mom and my dad. I mean, if you're unhappy, whatever, get out of the relationship first before you actually go and cheat.
Or if you
That's-
cheat, don't drag it on. Just fucking get separated, divorced, sit down with the kid, explain it.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you have a 40-something-year-old who's sitting before me, my husband, breaking down about something that happened like 25 years ago.
God, I'm old.
23 years ago, because you're about to be 43. Grandpa. You know what I mean? Like, Well, no. See, I'm not good with math. Shit. 25.
Yeah.
Because you would have been 18.
When I graduated.
Boom. See?
But, everything had started before and then...
Yes, but I'm saying, like, but if you could do it all over again, what would you do differently? You would just force her to go?
Force her.
What would you going to do? Pick her up and throw her in the back of your car?
I mean, she was a tiny woman.
I know she was.
I'm fat. I don't know. I know where I got my fat genes from. It was my mom, or my dad's side. Because my grandma was... She big as well.
She big as well.
She was...
My grandma was
She was big as well because all the food that she made.
Fudge.
Oh my God, the fudge that she would make.
Michael always talks about this fudge, and it's a simple recipe on the back of the...
Dad, she would just use that little tub thing.
Of the marshmallow fluff.
What is it? What is it? Kraft, I think? With the blue
Jet.
top?
No, it's Jet puffed.
Yeah, but isn't Kraft, though? I think it's Kraft. With the blue lid.
Does Kraft own Jet marshmallows? Puff marshmallows?
I think it was still Kraft. Why don't you Google it?
I don't fucking know.
But yeah, that's why, because...
But that shit tastes like shit.
And her chocolate cake. Well, she didn't make everything from scratch. She
talk about the chocolate cake.
Used, like, I think it was Duncan Hines a lot.
I thought you were going to say duct tape.
Yeah, she used duct tape.
I love me a good old box
She'd bake
cake.
her own bread.
What kind of bread?
Just like regular white bread.
Oh, fuck.
Maybe Italian bread.
Oh, yeah. Crusty?
Yeah.
Get in the butter. Okay, sorry.
Taste the biscuit.
Taste the honey on the biscuits. Why? Would you even?
Addicting.
Why? I'm going to say it all night long.
Yep. So, nothing.
Okay.
Every time I would go over to Akron to go see her, never would. I mean, I would talk, rarely talk, and my mom was a chain smoker. I wish she would have stopped because that also contributed of how she died as well. There was two things that contributed.
Okay, wait, let's back up though.
Okay.
So you said if you could do things differently, you would do them differently now. So take out the equation of throwing her in the back of your vehicle and possibly getting a kidnap charge. What other ways do you think you would have done things differently? Like, would you just went up to
talked to her?
Yeah, and told her how it was?
Yeah.
Maybe cussed her out?
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't just the only time that she cussed me out.
No.
There's other times. So yeah, she remarried the guy in 2011. Or not. She married the guy in 2011. It was in July. And I actually walked her down the aisle.
True story. I've seen the pictures.
Yes, in my suit.
You were very red.
It was a hot day.
Really? Because
Yes.
I'm surprised you weren't in a hoodie and snowsuit.
Well, if you look at the suit that I was wearing, that's why I was probably sweating that day too. So, yeah. Never really talked to my mom a whole lot. And even if I was over there, didn't really make eye contact. She had this like chair that she would sit in, and then I would sit on the couch like next to her. And then he would be there. Not a fan.
Most people
Never was. Never will. I said it.
And what have I told you?
It's not his fault.
It takes two to tango.
Yes.
Your mom knew what she was doing. She was not only playing him, but playing your father. So
I actually wonder if he knew that she was coming over to his house. Probably not.
Probably
No.
not. No. Probably not. No.
Because she would even stay the night at the house. So, like, I mean, this is before they got married and everything. Mm-hmm.
Did she ever
I mean,
come
like,
over,
where
though?
did she go? Like, was it like, where'd she go? I mean,
Maybe her
what did she
mom's
tell?
or her sisters?
I mean, what did she tell her? Or tell him?
Who knows?
Who knows?
She was to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, she sounds like a master manipulator.
Oh, then she was bipolar.
So she knew exactly what she was doing.
She was on meds.
Do you think she was really taking them? I'm going to go ahead and
I don't
say,
know.
yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm going to go with no.
Probably something I would have to ask my grandmother, if she even knows.
So did she ever come over to your dad's house after her and her husband got married?
No.
Then it stopped.
Yes, it stopped.
She never asked him for money after that?
After that... No. She would ask me for money.
And?
I gave it to her.
Why don't you, can I bring up when you had to go up and pick them up because they were drunk at the bar she worked at? And what they did? Because this infuriates me. This is just fucking
So
disgusting.
This is when I was living with my aunt and my mom in Navarre. My mom was a dancer at a strip club. Yes. I said it. So if I'm sure somebody has to know. Maybe. I don't know. They wanted me to come up to where she worked.
But it was to pick them up because they were drunk, right?
To pick them up. I did that, and I also did that for her solo time as well when she was not with yeah.
When she wasn't with him.
And I would actually have to pick when they were dating at said time, when dating him in Akron, she was drunk, and I would have to pick her up at his apartment and then take her back to Navarre. Which I don't think I ever told you.
No, you didn't.
I think I did that several times. Yeah, obviously my mom was a drinker. But before she died, I think it would have been years, or it would have been a while, then she did stop drinking.
But the damage was done.
And she actually had 1 or 2 DUIs.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know at least 1. I can't remember if she had a second one. So back to the story. They wanted me to go up to the bar where they were, or she was working, the strip club, and felt awkward as fuck because obviously, you're at a strip club that your mom works at. Awkward as fuck. And they actually paid for a dance for me.
How fucking filthy. Like, when you told me that, and every time you say it again, I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? See, this is the shit that pisses me off with your family on both sides. Where were the fucking adults at this point in your life?
I think my dad was more of an adult at that time.
I'm not even saying anything about your mom and dad. I'm talking about aunts and uncles, grandparents. Where the fuck were they to not notice that little Michael, and yes, I'm going to call you little Michael, because all of the shit that happened weighed heavily on you in your soul. So I'm going to say little Michael because nobody was fucking taking care of you. Where were your family members? Where were they?
No.
They were just letting you sit there and spiral out of fucking control.
From what I remember. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, got paid to have a dance from this lady.
You didn't get paid to have a dance.
Oh, see, I cannot talk. I cannot think.
Paid.
I am not on this planet right now.
I'm sure this is stressful. They paid a dancer to dance on
for you. Yes.
For
dance
you.
on me. Yes.
Was it a striptease or just a lap dance?
I was actually sitting at the bar in like a stool, and she danced right there.
Did she grind up on you?
Yes.
Right in front of your mom?
I don't remember if my mom was right. I think yes. Mom and person were there.
Yes.
As well, obviously, because they wanted me to come up there.
Were they looking at you? Like, what were you doing?
I was looking away.
I would have just defecated.
They were probably behind me. I think they were behind me at that time.
That literally makes my stomach churn.
I don't remember what happened after that.
You probably blacked out. Your mom was there. Come on. What? No.
And I think she actually danced it. Not just that place. I think there was another place as well. So yeah, I think actually why she went into striptease or being a stripper is because she got implants.
Which I can't even fault her, because wasn't she very flat-chested?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
If I didn't have breast, I probably would look into that.
Yeah, she.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of something. Do you know if she had saline or silicone?
No, I don't remember.
Because if those start to leak, that can cause cancer and can cause mass chaos in your body. It will slowly start to kill you from the inside out.
I can ask my grandma. Maybe she knows.
I maybe wouldn't ask grandma, like,
Grandma, hey, what kind of implants did my mom have?
Were they saline or silicone? I would probably ask your aunt. She would probably be the one to answer that. She probably would know.
Maybe.
But that just made me wonder. Because when she passed, she had multiple things going on in her body.
Yeah, so
But nobody ever brought that up.
I don't think so. Not even when you were there.
Oh, listen.
This is when we were actually starting to date, and
about a month in.
We started dating in July.
Yeah,
it was
but
like September, August, September. 2 months.
Yeah, about 2 months in.
And yeah, that was never brought up. And actually, my mom, before she was like losing her mind. Like, she was talking about FBI hacking her Facebook, she was contacting Facebook because her husband then was like hacking her Facebook and like taking friends off of her Facebook
and cheating on her.
Or she would say that a lot, that he was he didn't love her and they fought a lot, which I already knew about. So she was contacting Facebook and said something about FBI one time. Like, she contacted FBI. Like, what?
That started, a few months before she passed? I feel like you said it started like the beginning of summer.
Maybe even earlier. But the one day she wasn't feeling good and he took her to the hospital, and I was working, and they told me they were taking...
You weren't working. We were out to eat.
Was I?
Yeah. Because all they said...
It was the next day.
All they said was that she just wasn't feeling well, and they were going to take her to the hospital.
Yeah, it was the next day when I was working. I was actually learning to do something for the job that I was doing. And he said that she's not doing good. So I went up there. And that's the day that you went up there, right?
I don't know. I blacked out.
Yeah. She went up there, and actually, when doctors want to give you bad news, you go into like a room with like all the family members.
Literally all of the family was there.
All of my family, my aunts, uncles,
everybody.
My aunt, she actually had moved down to the Carolinas at the time, and she flew up. She was there, and
was she there at that time?
Yes.
Did she make it? Okay.
She made it. Yeah, because I remember after she had passed, I went over to my grandparents' house, and we had the chicken pot pie. That's for that story. So yeah, here's Kelly in the back corner behind some of my family members.
We're in a very small room, like a small bathroom.
I wouldn't say it was.
Oh, that's
small.
how it felt.
Oh,
and I was shoved in the corner.
Yeah.
All of these people around me, and the doctor's giving the bad news, and I'm just like standing there.
But see, the thing is when he was giving bad news, but it seemed like when she first went in, he seemed somewhat like skeptical or something, because he's like, she needs to stop smoking and because this is when they didn't initially diagnose her with cancer, I believe.
Multiple.
So she actually had lung cancer, and then she had a tumor in the brain.
But then it had metastasized everywhere, basically.
It had, because...
But they think it originally started in the lungs. And then it spread to everywhere else.
And obviously it spread everywhere because she didn't even know that anything was really going... I mean, she was still going to the doctor and everything. What kind of doctors does she even have? And why didn't I say anything?
Because your mom was always off.
Like, I should have, even though with, contacting the FBI and all that, and, I should have, that was probably the brain tumor.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because it was at the base. I do remember that. It was at the base.
Yeah.
So that affects everything. But even, Mike, even if you would have notified somebody at that moment when she was talking crazy that summer, she would not have been saved. Chemo, radiation would have done nothing. It would have prolonged the inevitable.
It prolonged the inevitable.
She was so thin, it probably would have killed her quicker.
Oh, she got even thinner and thinner.
Mm-hmm. Did they put her in a medically induced coma? Or did she just slip into one?
She just slipped into one. They didn't put it in a medically. No.
Okay.
So it was a couple of days. She was in the hospital for 2 days. And that's when, obviously she was told that, I don't know if she really grasped it because of how probably out of it and everything that she was on drugs for all the pain and everything that she was going through. And, obviously cancer.
And they were giving her a lot of stuff to try to control her movements.
Yes.
She had a lot of involuntary movements.
Yes. So basically, she finds out 2 days before she dies that she has cancer.
But she wasn't with it. She was not talking.
No, when you had gone up there.
Yeah.
No, she was. When I did go see, I did get to tell her I love her and hold her hand. But this is the thing. What was I getting at? It's this thing. It's crazy. You don't know you have cancer, but something in the back of my head, she knew, but she didn't say anything to anybody. That's the same way with my dad, but not really, because my dad wouldn't go to the doctor.
Probably because he didn't know.
I would tell him to go to the doctor. He felt sluggish and he was tired all the time, and his liver was hurting. I'm he didn't know it was his liver, but he knew it was on the right side of his stomach that he was having pain.
But he could have never anticipated what it really was.
But he should have gone when even if prolonged it, because
He was
that's
stage
for another
4.
day.
Yeah.
That's for another day. And obviously my mom was stage 4 because she died 2 days. I remember I was on the phone with my aunt on my dad's side. I was in the waiting room of the hospital. Got a text message from him because he stayed in the room with her. And I don't know why I ignored it, but he said, you need to get in here right now. I don't think I completely ignored it, but it took me a while to get off the phone with my aunt. And I got in there, and she was gone. The same exact thing that happened when I was with my dad. Both instances, I wish I could have been in the room. But both of them, well, that's not about my dad. That's for another story. It's about my mom.
But they probably both did that. They always say...
That's what they say, that...
As soon as that family member that counts... Not saying that the other people didn't count, but what I'm saying is you were their child. They, their bodies just know.
And I just remember going in there, and they actually brought one of her Afghan. Well, she had this Afghan, and they was, covering her along with the bed sheet that they have there. And I held her hand for a while with him. I just wish, even though they do say that they know it's time for them to go. So, yeah, I wish I could have been holding her hand when she passed away. But I wasn't there. So, I guess, moral of the story to everybody is love your loved ones. You never know how long you actually get with them. Love your parents. You only get one mom. You only get one dad. Try to repair if there's any turmoil. Do anything to try. I miss you, Mom. Whew. Man. I didn't think I was going to get this emotional.
I thought it was going to be worse.
And after my mom had passed away, my grandma would always say that he killed her.
Which was not true. And we all told her that. He did not put cancer in her body.
No, definitely not.
You know what I mean? If it wasn't cancer and they weren't sure, might have been a Lifetime movie, but...
Yeah.
He didn't do that.
I don't have any of her ashes because she was cremated. Originally,
Grandma
had them, and then she gave them to him. I don't know if he still has her ashes. Do I want her ashes? Do I want any part of her ashes? Probably not, because how I feel about it, because this is what my dad even said when he got his cancer diagnosis, and he wanted to be cremated as well, that he didn't want to be split up between me, his brother, and his sister. So that, kind of like stuck with me. Like, eventually we did like spread his ashes over at a lake that he used to like to go with my uncle. His mother-in-law had this lake with a cabin, and they would go like Memorial Day, Labor Day weekend, and other days as well. But he loved it back there, and yeah, once again, not about him. But what I'm trying to say is, I understood what he was saying. Like, he didn't want to be.
He wanted his body whole.
Yeah, even though we did, like, I was the one that spread his ashes, and I just wanted her to be whole. Like, I don't want, like, him to have part of her and then me have part of her.
I feel like he did spread some of her ashes. Remember, he kept talking about spreading them up somewhere where they used to ride? Peninsula?
Maybe Geneva on the lake. They went up there a lot. Maybe that's it.
He talked about that. I don't know if he actually did it, though. I have no clue.
Whenever I find out, probably not now.
Well, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own feelings. And once again, your family failed you. Horribly.
So yeah, that's the story of my mom. And how I miss her. And how I could have repaired things. I know she probably knew that, I loved her deep down inside. But she still knew there was like a strain in the relationship. She had to have known. I mean, the way I was acting. I mean, if she couldn't have noticed that, then I don't know who would. But, like I said, moral of the story. Love your parents. You get one set. Only. Ever. If there's any turmoil, fix it. Love them. Because you don't know how long you get to be with them. I was 36 when both of my parents passed away. Yeah. On that note, I think we're going to wrap this up. So I just want to say, everyone, thank you for listening. I had to get this off my chest. I've been wanting to do it for a while. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Toodaloo.